Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Do I have a treat for you today? We are testing out the Phase One brand new XC40 150 megapixel camera, one of the world's most advanced medium format cameras.
And I'll be putting this $60,000 camera to the test as I travel throughout Zion, the Grand Canyon, and Yosemite. I will be sleeping in the bed of my truck. I'll be camping. We will not be nursing this camera by any means. We'll be putting it through the full-on test. Looking at the weather report, we're going to be following some storms, and we should get some temperatures well below freezing, making for a very exciting and fun adventure. A quick update for those who are new to this channel, as I'm sure there's a lot of them wanting to see this brand new camera from Phase One. My name is Shane Walls. I make my living as an adventure and a fine art and nature photographer. I have been a photographer now professionally for over 20 years, and I use what's called the technical camera, the actual predecessor to this new Phase One camera, the collaboration between Phase One and Alpha cameras, the A-series camera. Now this is classified as a technical camera because nothing on it is automatic. Unlike now, where with the new XC system from Phase One, everything is done through the digital back. And what an impressive digital back. 151 megapixel, 15 stops of dynamic range, ISO sensitivity, 50 all the way up to 256,000. And the brand new state-of-the-art CMOS BSI sensor. With a fixed focal length of 40 millimeters, therefore your zooming will be done in post via cropping, leaving you with plenty of megapixel to spare. Built for landscape photography in mind, this is a compact, small, medium format camera that packs a punch with image quality. I'm here in Zion National Park in mid-November. This is my favorite time to be here. The crowds aren't here. Fall color is just hanging on, but I love this look and this dichotomy of this time of year. A lot of leaves on the ground. Some leaves are just barely hanging on. And with the slot canyons and the shadow with the sun coming in, you get these great little shots such as this. I'm really sorry about the audio here and the noise of the crashing river behind me. I wasn't planning on filming this, but I've been playing with the framing average, so when I actually did film it, I knew what I was doing. But my mind has just been absolutely blown. This scene behind me, usually I would use about 3 or 4 filters to get one shot. I'm doing this all in camera with the frame averaging of this camera. Blowing my mind. I'm getting, and not to mention motion. I'm averaging these images together. It takes multiple images, brings everything together, so you don't need ND filters. Kind of polarizer helps, but it just brings everything into one image. It's absolutely incredible. I carry about 10 pounds in filters. Glass is heavy, plus it's a big box to carry around. This takes all that away. I can just go out with this camera. I don't need any filters to bring the exposure together. It's amazing. Again, it's game changing.
Walking away. Thanks, buddy. I'm sorry. And that is time. Good morning. It's about 5:30, and here in Zion they have trolleys most times of the year. So I'm all dressed, ready to go. Let's go get a sunrise. I'm hoping let's do kind of the Virgin River underneath Angel's Landing. Let's see what we get.
Thanksgiving dinner. Hey. Well, hopefully they move eventually. I don't want to have to run them over. Ooh, tough guys. So as you can see, there wasn't much of a sunrise and not too many clouds to speak of. But the incredible thing about this camera is it can take these kind of scenes and make an ordinary scene a good scene. And this is what I'm talking about. As you can see on the left, with the simple polarizer and the frame averaging in this camera built in, you can make it a somewhat fun, interesting scene. Off to the right, that's just straight camera, no polarizer, no nothing. I love this perspective of Angel's Landing, but I wasn't happy with this sunrise. So I came back a few other sunrises till I finally got it perfect. And to see the detail I'm getting, this is the Angel's Landing trail. Zoom in 200% and you can actually see 3 hikers hiking up the trail. That's the kind of detail I'm getting with this camera.
While I'm here at the campsite, charging up some batteries, I thought I'd go over the last 48 hours of using the Phase One XC40 and my first impressions. Now I found that this is built, made for landscape photographers. I couldn't see you using this in the studio. As a landscape camera, first off, the size of it has been amazing. This is everything I need in the camera. And what really hits me first off is just the less gear I need to carry. I don't even need my big backpack anymore. I don't need to really carry filters, maybe just a gradient ND and a polarizer. That's it. Everything else can be done with this back, and I don't need extra lenses because the idea of this, the 150 megapixel, I can just crop in instead of zooming in or changing lenses. I can just crop in and still have a ton of megapixel. So I'm very impressed with that. The other thing I absolutely love about this camera is the frame averaging. This is a game changer. I'm not sure if I put the video in, if you could hear me when I was playing around with it on the creek. I could not believe how fun this was. This is one of those tricks that, you know, there's nothing worse as a photographer, and this seems to happen a lot in Utah. I'm sitting there as a landscape photographer, and all of a sudden you're taking this amazing shot, then all of a sudden a plane flies right through it and just leaves that trail. Then you have to wait sometimes 15, 20 minutes as you're losing the light, because that trail in there is just so hard to get rid of, especially in Photoshop. It ruins the picture. This actually benefits from it. The frame averaging on this is so cool, because if you do it over a minute or something like that, it'll take those pictures and average it out. It just looks like a normal cloud. And the other great thing about this, you can take a scene that has a few little clouds in it, not the crazy dramatic sky like you were hoping for. Do the frame averaging. This will then give you a bunch of different clouds because the clouds are moving. So it'll take pictures and just those 5 or 6 little clouds all of a sudden are covering the whole sky. This is a game changer for landscape photography. It's an amazing setup. I'm truly excited to be playing with this. I feel like I'm cheating with this camera. I really do. The menu settings and the way this is laid out, it's very intuitive. Even though there's not too much in it, which another quick thing, that's what I love about Phase One, it doesn't give you all these 3,000 options like Sony, Nikon, and Canon does. Doesn't say, oh, do you want vignette? None of that junk, excuse me. This is just pretty much, do you want a big file, a medium file, white balance, and a few other little things, histogram. That's it. That's what I love. But the menu is very easily laid out. I didn't have time, we got this at the last second, to really go through the manual, which I'm still kind of kicking myself about because now we don't have Surface, I can't download it. But the menu was so intuitive, I was able to figure it out. Given I have had an older Phase One before, this is a whole different setup though, and I was able to go through and figure it out. The only little negatives are not too bad at the moment is that you do everything on the digital back. This thing runs through batteries. It's been about 48 hours since we've been shooting with it. I think I've gone through 5 batteries. Given again, I've been playing a lot with it. If I was just shooting, I probably would have gone through about 2 or 3, so maybe a battery a day. You get about 100 shots or so going through, focusing live view. It's a little hard to do, especially in the direct sun, to see the screen of the back. It is doable, not having a viewfinder. you get used to it. The touchscreen is very responsive and it works well with gloves on. And just again, the way the menu is laid out, it is simple to swipe, select. It gives you big enough icons to go plus or minus or whatever it needs to be, that you're not accidentally hitting other things. There has been a few times, however, when I do mean to swipe, I click something else and it goes into another menu. And since you're doing everything on the digital back, it's not the end of the world. I wouldn't even call it a problem, actually. It's just a little bit of an annoyance that I'm sure as when I get better using this camera and more familiar with it, it won't be an issue. Oh, another thing, a minus for this camera I just thought of, you probably already noticed why it has a Canon lens cap. I don't know why Rodenstock gives you, oh, it's right here. They give you these lens caps, they just fall off. It doesn't click in. I don't know why they do this. They did this back, my camera was 6, 7 years old. Well, they're not actually. They did then too. They just give you these pretty cheap lens caps. I don't know why. So I just took from my old Canon ones that are a lot better and they clip on. They're not going to come off. This one kept falling off, taking it in another backpack. If you do get this camera, you're going to need to buy an extra lens cap. But as of right now, the two minor negative, our battery and looking at the screen all the time, those are minimal compared to the pluses of this camera so far. I'm so excited. We're gonna do a little bit more time here in Zion, then we're gonna head to the Grand Canyon, then to Yosemite.
Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like what you saw, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Want to see more? Make sure to subscribe. Thanks again. Cheers.
And grab a beer and just relax at the campsite because the weather's not that great. But I thought, no, this is a $60,000 camera. Let's use it, let's go explore, and look at this epic place I just found. And that can really be the difference, missing a shot or getting the shot, just that quickness of this camera. So I've arrived at Yosemite. The weather promised rain, it is raining. I'm having battery issues and not having a backup of something. And now that could be 100, 200, hell, we're in the Grand Canyon. That could be a $300 mistake.